energy vampires. Energy vampires are appliances that are plugged in but not on. So they're plugged in, not on. So like right now my TV is plugged in but it's not turned on. It's still drawing energy. I'm still paying for that. My lamps are plugged in but they're not on. I'm paying for that. Those are all energy vampires. This is why you unplug things when you're not using it, but who remembers that? So we're going to it's less energy, but it's still energy. So how much CO2 does a cable box cause to be emitted in a year if it's on standby mode half the time? And we're only going to figure out the CO2 from the standby mode. Okay, so first of all, how many hours are in a year, and what would half of that be, right? Because we're talking about half the time. So if we think about this, 12 hours a day is half. So if I do 12 hours a day, and there are 365 days in a year, that means there are, let me find my paper, there are 4,380 hours in a year. Because we want a year. So this is the hours that I'm going to be using. Great. Now the cable box on standby uses 17.83 watts. So I can do my 17.83 watts over 1. 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts, right? So that makes my watts cancel out. How many hours? Well, we just found 4,380 hours. And then once I have my hours, then I just do the 1.37 pounds per 1 kilowatt hour. Kilowatt cancels out with kilowatts, hours with hours, and boom, I do my math. So for the half of the time that it's on standby, it is creating 106.99 pounds of CO2, which is, quite a bit, I think. But for not doing anything, right? That's just when it's plugged in but not turned on. Number 2 is a little bit more work. Suppose an air conditioner is left on standby 24 hours a day for 9 months. How much CO2 would be produced? Okay, well, first off, the air conditioner on standby produces 0.9 watts. Okay, so that's the wattages. Now, 9 months. We are going to assume 30 days in a month. All right, so 24 hours in one day times 30 days. That tells me how many hours we have, which 30 days in a month, so times 9. 24 hours a day for 30 days for 9 months gives me 6,480 hours. So that's how many hours we're going to use for this guy. Okay, so I'm going to go with my 0.9 watts. Then 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts. I need hours, so there's where the 6,480 hours comes into play. And then I will multiply by my 1.37 kilowatt. Oops, that's a lie. 1.37 pounds is 1 kilowatt hour. So that means kilowatts cancels out kilowatts, hours with hours. That's kind of separate. I do the math from this here problem, and that's 7.99 pounds. Okay, well, there's a second part to that problem that I did not type in. I guess I'll do that now. Part B, if you are charged 10 cents per kilowatt hour, how much money does it cost to leave the air conditioner in standby? Well, this starts the same way. 0.9 watts over 1. 1 kilowatt is 1,000 watts, right? That makes the watts go away. We know we're using 6,480 hours, but instead of using the pounds, we're using 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So we're still using kilowatts, canceling out kilowatts, hours with hours, but instead of multiplying by 1.37, we're multiplying by 0.10, which gives us 58 cents. So if you leave your air conditioner on standby for 9 months, you are paying 58 cents for that happening. Yeah, it's not too bad, but over the course of years, it could add up.